What's that?
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
This, my friend, is a pirate. Why don't you just focus on the drink with it? It comes in pints. I can get you one. You've had a whole half already.
Good night and party on.
Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Garth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of After Work Beers. I'm your host, John, the Creative Blue Collar Guy, and yes, we missed late to the party news this past Monday. Had some family in town that they were hitting the road on back home Tuesday, actually that night. So you know, sometimes you got to spend time with family instead of sitting here talking into a camera. But we're back. We've got some fun stories to talk about. And I see a couple of you are watching. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to chime in the chat. This is a discussion. Let's have a little back and forth. You don't have to lurk. You don't have to be quiet. You don't have to be shy. But yeah, we've got some fun stuff to talk about. I do know this week the 2025 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame were announced, but I am going to save that topic for a Monday night stream. I think it'll be kind of a fun topic to talk about with a panel of other people on camera here with me, even though it will be incredibly late to the party by the time we talk about it. But that's one I want to save. But we've still got some other fun topics here. See what we can get through. Mostly music. One, I'm, as you know, if you've been here before, I follow Christopher Nolan movies very closely, and we've got a first look at. We have like a first official. I think it's an official image from the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's next film, just out of the vet and on time for the show. Well, I hope everything went well at the vet. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So, how's everybody's week going so far? How's everybody's Wednesday going? It's been a week, but then again, I guess it's always been a week. I did get my car back last week, so if you've been here the last couple of weeks and following the saga of my car accident, car rental, car repairs, all of that, for the most part, it all went pretty smooth and seamless. I was driving a Dodge Challenger for about 10 days. Honestly, I'm not much of a car guy. I sort of know enough how to work on them myself if I really have to, and I think old classic cars are really cool. But as far as having like a Challenger and something all like fast and whatnot, I'm like, I don't care. It was kind of fun to have it, but it's not something I would ever spend money on. But yes, got my car back. The driver who hit me and attempted to hit and run, who never provided me with his insurance information, never provided insurance information to my insurance agent while they're performing their more or less, I guess, investigation into who was at fault, whatever. They believed my side of the story. It matched up with the damage and the photos I was able to produce, and they covered everything. But when they said they were closing the insurance claim, they said that he still never gave up his insurance info to my insurance company. I think it's kind of odd. I thought an insurance company would probably be able to find a way to look them up if they have like the license plate, the VIN, and the driver's license of the driver in question. But anyways, everything was covered. My car was fixed. My rental was covered. Everything's back to normal. Everything's fixed. Everything's back to normal. But yeah, let's talk. Well, since I'm going to avoid talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame today, we can talk about this little side topic that's sort of about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but kind of not. This one I came across, I thought was kind of fun. 10 great rock bands who somehow are still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And a couple of these you can already see from the image. I'm going to argue are not rock and roll, but we're going to get there. But if I'm not mistaken, one of the criteria of a band or artist to be eligible to be nominated for the Rock Hall of Fame is I think it's either their first album or their first like commercial charting radio hit has to have come out 25 years prior to the year, which hell, I guess at this point is the year 2000. Wow. All right. Let's take a look at this list of what Screen Rant thinks are 10 great rock bands who somehow are still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm already seeing Blink-182 on the graphic. Sorry. I got love for those guys because they're from my hometown, San Diego, California, but I don't think they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Wu-Tang Clan, sorry, no, I'm going to have to disagree with that one, but let's take a look. Iron Maiden, all right. This is probably going to sound a little blasphemous, but I'm not a fan. I never got into their music for whatever reason, but I recognize their fame and popularity and impact that they have had on the music world, the metal genre in particular. So I'll allow it. That is probably a little bit of an oversight on the Rock Hall of Fame's place there that Iron Maiden has not been inducted. What else do we got? Let's see. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is ultimately a celebration of all things loud, paying homage to the rebellious statements of musical intent that disrupt the status quo and sometimes the world itself. Considering that criteria, Iron Maiden's omission is a damning indictment of the institution itself, from their imagery to their steely-minded dedication to never straying from heavy metal's core rulebook, largely because they wrote a lot of it. Iron Maiden are a global movement that embody everything the Hall of Fame is supposed to stand for. Well, the Hall of Fame doesn't really stand for much of anything at this point because they'll just induct anyone. Korn, okay. I know Korn gets a lot of flack. I think they get labeled and fall into the whole new metal thing, new metal, which has been the butt of a lot of jokes. But there's no doubt that Korn has definitely been a very, very influential band for the last 30 years. And I think that's well deserved. Well, not well deserved. This is a list of bands that are not in the Rock and Hall of Fame who should be. I think they're one that like I would vote for. I'd say they should be in. I would go for that. Motorhead, same thing. No idea how Motorhead is not in the Hall of Fame. They are Motorhead and they play rock and roll. I mean, what more do you need? It says it all right there. Motorhead wrote the book on being rock and roll and outlaw. If the image of rock and roll is saturated in Jack Daniels, smelling of cigarettes, and pulling up on a Harley Davidson, fire, skulls, and lightning are optional, Lemmy lived and breathed that life. It was no gimmick for Lemmy Kilmister. Motorhead's mission statement of everything louder than everything else was how he conducted his life. So there you go. Blink-182. This one, I don't agree with this. I don't think Blink is a band that should be in the Rock Hall of Fame. I don't know if they've ever even been nominated. If we're talking over 10 great rock bands who somehow are still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't know if they've even ever been nominated, but them, like, they're pop punk at best. I would not put them on a list of great rock bands that should be in the Rock Hall of Fame. 21st century rock gods deserve more respect. No, they're not rock gods. Like I said, I got love for the guys. They're from my hometown. I got love for them, but they're not rock gods. They're pop punk. Blink are a classic band that at least two generations herald as legends in the same way they see Nirvana or Green Day. Well, Green Day can go suck it. And, I would not put Blink in the same sentence as Nirvana. It's hard to reconcile that a band that'll get naked and sing about dog farts are considered talents that are in the same Hall of Fame as the Beatles and Radiohead, but Blink-182 bridged the gap between generation-defining emo and pop-punk movements. Depressingly, those were the last bands to conquer the world. Tool. Big fan of Tool. Absolutely love this band. I would say they are a band that I would agree with and vote for being in the Hall of Fame. But again, it's like I wouldn't call them just rock and roll. I mean, they're a lot more technical than that. They're a lot more complicated than that. But I am a huge, huge fan of this band. So I'll allow it. That's one that I think could be and should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I don't think they've ever even been nominated. It is a meme that Tool fans are passionate to the point of being insufferable. Many of them are. They're very serious and they don't know how to take a joke. They also miss a lot of the humor that Tool puts in their music, in their artwork, in their live shows, everything. Just a lot of Tool fans are just a little too serious. They don't know how to take a joke. But your writer is one such Tool fan, and it is a travesty that the most musically interesting band to go mainstream are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At McDonald's. Oh. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be R&R. Like they just need some rest and relaxation instead of some rock and roll. Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke now, but I don't know. Because I want to talk about the actual nominees on this next coming Monday. I'm doing a little side topic about bands that are not in the Hall of Fame. Tool reveled in doing everything a band was supposed to avoid doing. Thin Lizzy, I don't really have a dog in the fight on this one. It's another one that I'm just sort of like, whatever. It wasn't something I grew up listening to, and I don't really care. But obviously, they've been around long enough. Linkin Park, they can't ignore one of the biggest selling artists of the 21st century. I don't know if I would say Linkin Park should be nominated for the Rock Hall of Fame. There he is, my Bizarro dad, Roman of the Empire. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Don't panic. This is a list of 10 great rock bands who should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm either agreeing or disagreeing with them. We're going to talk about the actual nominees on Monday. We're all going to pick our 5 that we think should be in. So come back on Monday. It's going to be quite the discussion. But honestly, I think we're all probably going to agree on which one should be in and which one shouldn't. Making you buy more records. I don't know. What do you want from me? I'm only one man. Yeah, don't get me wrong. They were an influential band for their time and for their generation. But do I think that they belong? Do I think that they should be nominated for the Rock Hall of Fame? Not really. However, considering some of the other acts that have been nominated and inducted, lots of rap, lots of hip hop, lots of pop, lots of acts that are not rock. So this one is not a far cry, but still not nominated. Motley Crue, okay. I would say that's one that they probably should be in. And Alice in Chains Unplugged today. I don't think I have that one on vinyl. I have the DVD, and I have Nirvana Unplugged on vinyl. Motley Crue, that's one that I would say, okay, they've been around long enough. They were the rock and roll a staple of their generation. They probably should be. Wu-Tang Clan, get out of here. Get this. See, this is the type of shit that I'm like, what is going on with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Like, what they're like, 10 great rock bands that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And number 2 on this list of bands that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is Wu-Tang Clan.
No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Not rock and roll. No. Yeah, I'm the same way, Roman. I'm not a big fan, but they are rock and roll. I'll give them that. I mean, they've lasted multiple overdoses and all sorts of other media drama. And somehow I think all the original members are alive. I know Mick Mars retired, but they're all alive. Like, I think any band where all the original members survived the 70s or 80s is well, they're probably invincible at this point. But yeah, not a big fan of Motley Crue, but I would agree with a Rock Hall of Fame nomination for them. Queens of the Stone Age. I'm not mad at it, but I feel like they're a little bit on the newer side of things. Did their first album come out 25 years ago? Help me out, Roman. One of the requirements is their first album has to have come out 25 years ago. And I mean, I think they might just barely meet that criteria, but I'm not sure. This feels like kind of a newer. See if it says. I don't know. I don't know. This one, it's like I'm not entirely mad at it, but I'm not immediately going to be like, yeah, I agree with that. I don't know how I feel about that. Queens of the Stone Age possibly being nominated for Rock Hall of Fame. I don't know. But I'm going to hold off on the actual nominees for this year until Monday. So, like I said, come back on Monday for Late to the Party news, where we're going to be like a week and a half to 2 weeks late talking about the nominees. But we're going to pick our favorites and we're going to talk about it. But, 98. Okay. All right. That's fair. But I don't know. I don't know if I would call them rock and roll. Well, I guess they're more rock and roll than a lot of acts that are in the Hall of Fame right now. Like NWA, Mary J. Blige, and Cher. I could go on, but that's all that comes to mind right off the bat. But hey, we got a few people watching over on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. Don't be shy. Sound off in the chat. This is a discussion. You could say that you totally hate everything that I'm talking about and I suck and I should shut up, but you can still say it. Don't be shy in the chat, folks. Don't be shy. Let's have a conversation. They fall under the rock of it. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely rock, but it's I don't know. I don't know if they've quite made it to like Rock Hall of Fame status. But as I just rattled off a bunch of other acts that are in the museum, they suck. So they'll pretty much induct anyone into the Rock Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure next year they'll probably be nominating Beyonce or who knows, whatever. I don't know. But so that's that. That was 10 great rock bands who are somehow still not in the Rock Hall of Fame. I was about 50-50 on that. Yes. Yeah. That Cher was inducted last year. Let's put it that way. NWA is in there. I can't even remember. Like last year when I looked through the list of artists that were inducted last year, less than half were actual rock bands. Anyways, for a little bit of a more oh god, what just happened? I closed more than one tab. What did I close? Hold on. For a little bit more of a more sad topic. Okay, we got Tool, we got Lane Staley. Oh, okay, that's the one that I closed. The laptop was lagging, and I closed more than one tab at a time. But it's all right, we got it back. Let's go on to a little more of a bit of a sad topic. This is kind of a bummer that I read about within the last week sometime. Brian Setzer has been diagnosed with a sort of neurological disorder that is affecting his hands, and it's seriously affecting his ability to play guitar. Now, if you're familiar with the Stray Cats or the Brian Setzer Orchestra or any of his works, you know that this cat can play. Yeah, that was bad. All right. Anyways, that's when everyone tunes out. But Brian Setzer is definitely one of a very well known for his abilities, you know, the whole rockabilly style. But I mean, the guy can play. He can. I mean, I don't know if like in the rockabilly style, it's necessarily like shredding, but he is quite the wizard on the sixth string. And so right here in the headline, it says, "I cannot play guitar. Rockabilly legend Brian Setzer reveals he has an autoimmune disease that prevents him from playing guitar." Setzer said the effects of his illness became apparent during the Stray Cats 2024 tour, the group's first road stint in 5 years. So there he is, still rocking that full pompadour head of hair. I wonder if he's bald and if that's real or if that's still really his hair. If that's still all really his hair, good for him, man. Because the guy's like maybe in his 60s. Can't be that old. Brian Setzer announced he has been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that prevents him from playing guitar. The rockabilly electric guitar legend made the news public on February 13th via Facebook, saying, "Hey, everybody. Just wanted to check in with you all towards the end of the last Stray Cats tour. I noticed that my hands were cramping up. I've since discovered that I have an autoimmune disease. I cannot play guitar. There's no pain, but it feels like I'm wearing a pair of gloves when I try to play. I've seen some progress in that I can hold a pen and tie my shoes." That right there is like, okay, it's one thing that he can't play guitar Because I mean, okay, he's got some fast hands. I mean, he's all up and down the neck. He's moving at lightning speed. The guy's talented. The guy can play. But to say that he just barely saw some progress where he could hold a pen and tie his shoes, that's how bad it is. Like, he can't even hold a pen. That's terrible. This sucks. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I was at a point where I couldn't even do that. Luckily, I have the best hospital in the world down the block for me. It's called the Mayo Clinic. I know I will beat this. It will just take some time. I love you all, Brian. So there's his post. And yeah, very, very sad news. Really hope. I know Peter Frampton had a similar issue a couple years ago where he was going to do some final farewell tours and whatnot. It's only 65. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Willie Nelson, 92 years old, and he's still touring. Keith Richards is like 3,000 years old and smells like embalming fluid. Somehow he's still out there. But Peter Frampton had a similar thing where he was getting ready to do all these farewell tours and just like call it a day. And I think COVID sort of derailed that. But somehow or other throughout that same thing, he seeks various different types of medical treatments and therapies and stuff and was able to kind of get back out there. I still don't think Peter Frampton's going to keep it going in the long term, but I think he was still kind of able to get out there and still do his final tours with just, you know, whatever therapies and stuff he's got going on. But this, it sounds like whatever it is, he says, he's like, I know we'll beat this. So whatever it is, it sounds like he could, you know, work through it with therapy and, you know, any sort of exercise and stretching and stuff. But yeah, it's always tough it's tough when you lose a talent due to a death or something. But for somebody like this, that's got to be all the more difficult he's still alive, he's still here, but then he can't do the thing that he loves. So let's see. Stray Cats, the Stray Cats' most recent tour was a 3-week event that took place in the summer of 2024. It was the group's first tour in 5 years. Although there's no cure for autoimmune diseases, their symptoms can be mitigated with a range of treatments. With any luck, Setzer will be able to play again soon. Setzer is by far the best known and most successful rockabilly guitarist in rock and roll history. His first found success was with the Stray Cats in the 1980s when he helped relaunch the rockabilly genre decades after it had fallen from popularity. Rockabilly is so near and dear to my heart, he told Guitar Player magazine in 2023. There's just something exciting about it, and it never goes out of style. You can always add your own wrinkle to it and take it somewhere else. His love of the genre led him to visit the home of rockabilly legend Eddie Cochran, where he played his Gretsch 6120 Chet Atkins hollow body guitar. I did get the chance to play his guitar at his mom's house, he told Guitar Player last year. I realized when I played it a little that it had what seemed like slinky strings on there. The G wasn't a wound string. I asked his mom if they'd ever been changed, and she said, oh no, absolutely not. They're the strings that were on it when he last played it. I guess he must have used a banjo string for the E so that he could get a plain G string by moving the high E. And okay, guitar lingo. Yeah, whatever. And yet Creed and Nickelback will be back this year. Hey, don't be talking trash on Creed, my friend. You can talk bad about Nickelback because Devin isn't in the chat yet, but leave Creed alone, man. Love him or hate him, Mark Tremonti is a talented guitarist, but you can hate Scott Stapp all you want. No, they are not. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
No. I'll accept that people don't like Creed, but they are not the same as Nickelback. I will fight you, old man. Oh, let's see. So we've got first look at Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I'll accept that. I will accept that. So we have our first look at The Odyssey. So there's been some controversy stirring over the casting lately. I'm still not super stoked about some of the casting, but the bigger controversy came when people, oh, come on, why you got to be like that, Steph? Why you got to be like that? Creed is definitely better than Nickelback. There was a lot of controversy when a headline came out, because we knew Tom Holland was cast in Christopher Nolan's adaptation of the Odyssey, but it said Tom Holland was cast as, quote, a lead role. People immediately took to think that that meant Tom Holland was going to be playing Odysseus, which everyone said he's not old enough to be playing Odysseus. So now it seems Matt Damon is going to be Odysseus in Christopher Nolan's next epic. However, I'm still kind of out on the movie at this point after the announcement of Elliot Page and John Leguizamo in the cast. So, you know. So we got a bunch of people watching over on X. Don't be shy, folks. Sound off. Let me know you're there. Or pop on over to YouTube. It's more fun over here. So there we have it. Matt Damon. Yeah. Well, you know, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I'm just so curious what sort of angle he's going to take with this, because Christopher Nolan doesn't do fantasy. Blair to Blair, what's up, brother? How are you? Good to see you. Like, Christopher Nolan's whole style is he like, even with the Dark Knight trilogy, he kept things about 75 to 80% rooted in reality. He did his Dark Knight trilogy from the aspect of this could really happen in your neighborhood. There's nothing particularly supernatural about any of the villains, which was very controversial with the way he did Bane, because, you know, you can't just actually have somebody just sticking these tubes of steroids into their brain and getting all jacked at the push of a button and stuff. But no, Christopher Nolan he roots his movies in reality. Even with Inception, there are some crazy visuals in there and stuff, but it's like there's that little bit of like the concept could really exist. Interstellar, they worked with a lot of different people in kind of the science community to make it as accurate as they could, even though people really don't know much about black holes. But whatever the case may be, he tries to make his movies more realistic than not. He doesn't go like full-blown sci-fi or full-blown fantasy where everything is just like, okay, we know it's all make-believe, fake, whatever. So for Christopher Nolan to tackle the Odyssey, I'm still so curious how he's going to do it. But yes, due to the casting, I'm skeptical after hearing about the casting. The helmet, it's wrong. The poem actually describes it. Oh boy. All right. We've already got some hot takes here. Hot takes. Anyone over on Twitter got anything to say? Or I'm sorry, X, whatever. Chime in, folks. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We're having a conversation. Like I said, you could tell me that everything I'm saying is bullshit and you hate me, but, you know, throw it in the chat. Let me know you're there. All right. So there's nope. Matt Damon. So according to Roman, the helmet is already all wrong. The Odyssey has got its hero. Matt Damon will play Odysseus in Christopher Nolan's upcoming epic, The Odyssey. He will appear alongside an expansive cast, including Tom Holland, Mia Goth, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson. I don't know if I'd read that Robert Pattinson was going to be in it. Charlize Theron, Benny Safdie, John Bernthal, and John Leguizamo. They noticeably left out Elliot Page from that paragraph. Interesting. Very interesting. Damon's role was revealed Monday morning through the film's official X account. The post included a photo of him in character and read, Matt Damon is Odysseus, a film by Christopher Nolan. Hashtag The Odyssey movie is in theaters July 17th, 2026. Yeah. I like Tom Holland. I liked him as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Kind of out on everyone else. And actually, okay, I'll give Robert Pattinson some credit. I thought he was pretty good in Tenet. I know people didn't like the movie Tenet, but I thought he was good in that movie. And I actually did not hate him as Bruce Wayne and Batman. You know. But most of the casting is whatever. The Odyssey follows the Greek champion Odysseus and his tumultuous journey home after the Trojan War. The story was first scribed by the ancient Greek poet Homer over 2,000 years ago and is one of the oldest stories still enjoyed by modern readers. Mm. I think I just came across this one today. Layne Staley's Lost Journals to be published in new official book. I have mixed feelings about this. He's been dead for over 20 years. And whatever journals they found and whatnot, it's almost one of those things of like, just let sleeping dogs lie, like just leave it be, because now he doesn't get to have a say in whether these journals are published or not. Like there might be things in there that are pretty private. I'm guessing whoever is allowing them to be released, his family, his estate, whatever, he wasn't married, didn't have kids, but I'm assuming whoever's allowing it to be released has kind of gone through it and they've probably pulled out or removed anything that's like super, super personal, but still it's kind of like all these years later, he doesn't have a say. I don't know. I kind of don't like it. Like my immediate gut reaction is I don't like it because those might be things that even if they were just like song lyrics, just thoughts, just ideas, like maybe those were things that he just kept private to himself and never intended to put in a song or release to the world. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe his family's desperate for money. Yeah, I think yeah, terrible idea. Lame cash grab. Let the dead rest. Yeah, I kind of agree. Layne Staley's Lost Journals will be published in an official new book that is set for release later this year. The book, titled This Angry Pen, The Lost Journals of Layne Staley, will feature a collection of poetry, artwork, fan tributes, lyrics, photos, and more. The late Alice in Chains singer is listed as the sole author of the book, which is set for a November 11th release through Simon & Schuster. Through never before seen poetry, raw handwritten lyrics, intimate scribblings. Right there. I don't like that. Intimate scribblings. Those are private. He no longer has a say on if they're released or not. Intimate scribblings and heartfelt notes. Layne's inner thoughts and emotions come to life, offering a glimpse into the mind of a musical genius who defined a generation. The description of the book reads, the cover of the book is not yet available on the website, but it's currently priced at $40 for a hardcover copy. $40, $40 freaking dollars for a book. I think a couple of years back granted it was like a paperback, back when I bought Stephen King's It, which is like 1,300 pages and about the size of a family Bible that you could bludgeon somebody with, wasn't even $40. Yeah. I think you're on to something with this one, Blair. Lame cash grab. Just a lame cash grab. $40 for a book that's just like his journals and notes and whatever. Like, it's not like you're actually getting the book that he wrote in. It's all copied and Xeroxed and whatever. Seattle-based music publication something Stripes Seattle shared a post on Facebook claiming they received confirmation from Nancy McCullum, Staley's mother, that the book is authorized. Well, yeah, authorized by his family. Layne doesn't have a say anymore. They also shared a photo of the alleged book cover. New Layne Staley book from Layne Staley himself. This is an authorized release. This Angry Pen, The Lost Journals of Layne Staley, confirmed by me. An unprecedented look at personal writings, artwork, photographs revealing the visionary artist behind the voice. Never before seen. What's going to happen when I click this? Okay. Where was I? Rare glimpse into Layne Staley's private world, previously unpublished writings, artwork, and personal effects that reveal the depth and complexity of his creative spirit. Multi-talented artist The singer's creativity extended beyond music into poetry, drawing, jewelry making, and crafts, reflecting his unique perspective on the world. Perfect gift for rock and grunge fans. The Seattle music and grunge scene remains influential for new generations, with Alice in Chains standing out as one of the top bands from the area. Release date is November 11th, 2025. Image is one I've added as the cover for a 176-page hardcover book. 176 pages, and it's going to be $40 that has not been shared. This book will be released and can be pre-ordered, blah, 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 blah. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Personal effects, inner thoughts, all this stuff, like he's not around to say yay or nay. So yeah, his family authorized it, but I don't like it. This is not good. Let's see. Let me find one other thing. So I started watching this last night. So I was watching over the weekend. It took me a couple tries because I fall asleep on the couch too easily. Watched the SNL 50th anniversary. It was okay. I don't think they did enough to honor the SNL cast members that have passed on. And they did way too many like new sketches that nobody cares about. And then they also, on the Friday before, so the day before, they had like an SNL 50th concert, and it was mostly garbage. I'm trying to find the list of performers here. It opened up with Jimmy Fallon, who I absolutely hate. Can't stand Jimmy Fallon. With dressed like the Blues Brothers, with a whole host of people behind him dressed like the Blues Brothers, doing this whole big dance routine, singing Soul Man. Dan Aykroyd was nowhere to be found. And I just, of all the people, if they weren't even going to bring in Dan Aykroyd, of all the people, Jimmy Fallon to dress up like Blues Brothers and sing Soul Man, get out of here. But, you know, it's Hollywood. It's entertainment. Who is performing at the SNL 50 concert? Here's a look at the performers for the 50th anniversary. So I have not finished it yet, so I didn't get to all of them. But most of what I saw was pretty bad. Yep. That Epstein list is coming soon, old Tommy. SNL and Jimmy Fallon's infected. No, yeah. Yeah. I'm honestly surprised Lorne Michaels is still alive. He kind of looked like he didn't know where he was, but I'm surprised he's even alive. So the performers for the concert, that I think all of this is easily watchable on Peacock. I watched about half of it last night before I fell asleep. Arcade Fire, didn't see them. Backstreet Boys, yeah, unfortunately I was awake for that one. Bad Bunny, Bonnie Raitt, Brandy Carlisle, Brittany Howard, don't even know who that is. Cher, Chris Martin of Coldplay, David Byron, I don't know who that is. Dave Grohl, hey Roman, your favorite, Dave Grohl. Eddie Vedder, even worse. Jack White, I just hate the White Stripes anyways, even if Jack White is also an insufferable twat. Jelly Roll, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Miss Lauryn Hill, Post Malone, Devo, Mumford & Sons, Preservation Hall Jazz Band, what in the actual what? Robin, Snoop Dogg, St. Vincent, the B-52s, The Roots, Wyclef Jean. I honestly don't think I cared about anybody on the list at all. Roman, I'm sure you're probably a fan of Devo or something, but I just like this list went from indifferent to I don't care to I've never heard of to I can't stand. Yeah. That's 50 years of SNL. That's the list of people they chose to. Yeah. Didn't watch the 50th, don't care. Sometimes I'm a glutton for punishment. I won't watch the MCU shows on Disney Plus or the movies or the new Disney or the new Star Wars series or anything, but I can watch something that's only going to take 2 to 3 hours of my time and I can watch it in small bites. Okay, fine. But I'm not going to sign on for 8 to 10 episodes of a garbage series and So we all have our different vices in which we watch garbage content for whatever reason. It's like the scene in Clockwork Orange where he's being brainwashed. He's got his eyes pried open, screaming. And 3 bands I don't hate. But that was a lot of yeah. Yep. And I just realized I did not have my screen shared up there. So I was just reading through a list while you're staring at me, looking at my other monitor. So I apologize for that. At least if I pull up the other screen, it makes my face smaller and you can kind of look at the list. But oh well. All right. This next one's probably not going to take 20 minutes, but let's see if I can make it take 20 minutes. Or maybe we can find some other stuff to talk about too. Throw some topics out in the chat. We could do like the Linda Richmond thing, like talk amongst yourselves, give me a topic. But Tool are apparently in talks to start organizing ideas for next studio album. But if you are familiar with Tool and how they operate, that means it could still be a couple years before we even see an album. This just means they're going to start getting together and organizing ideas, but that is usually a lengthy process. Hopefully none of us do. I don't. As long as you stay away from the edibles, Roman, I think you'll be all right. But also, I guess Tom is the only one that'll be responsible for you, so... Yep. Tool to dedicate 3 months this spring to organizing ideas for next studio album. In a new interview with Mexico's Suma Inferno, Tool bassist Justin Chancellor. One time is all it takes, buddy. Because that, I mean, the whole rest of the trip, that was the whole story, was you'd been drinking all day long, and then Nadia gave you an edible, and then like that's all she wrote. You're done for the night. Somehow had completely lost your voice by the morning, but you couldn't really understand or remember why. None of us knew, because I think I left the meetup around 10, wandered back to my hotel alone, drunk, and whatever. Tool bassist Justin Chancellor was asked about a possible follow-up to the band's 2019 album Fear Inoculum. He said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, when we get back from our trip to Mexico and South America in March, I think it's only 3 weeks we're going to be there. We have already shared with each other a lot of these new ideas, but when we get back, we're actually going to dedicate the next 3 months after that in the studio to organizing our ideas. Yeah, no, you'll be safe and sound staying away from Vegas. The pool going on X. Oh Lord. Nope. Some of the stuff I've been seeing in that group chat, there's a lot of other weird stuff that might be going on that might not involve any of us that are here. I think so. You might need to call the authorities on him there. So Justin continues on. There's a lot of stages in the process of making a new Tool album. Roman, you're fired. Justin explained, and much of it is just every day. We all have ideas, and when they're good, when we like them, we kind of save them or memorize them. But then the really difficult process is when you actually get together and make decisions about how it's going to end up. And that becomes a little more mathematical, a little more like in the classroom. There's a blackboard, there's numbers, you have to make decisions. So that's the stage we haven't completely pulled off yet, but we're committed to do that when we get back. Before the summer, we're going to spend those few months really organizing our ideas. We already know what we like. We've all shared our individual ideas with each other, and we have a really good pile of stuff. You have to make those decisions, and you have to kind of wrestle with each other a bit to get to that next stage. And then you have to record it, which, as we all know, Tool still likes to record analog on tape, which is a whole other arduous process. It makes the recording take that much more. It's just more difficult at that point. Where was I? Just lost my place. Then you have to record it, which is a whole another thing. You go into the studio and you have to, it's like a pregnancy almost. When you go to the studio, you have to make this final decision of how it's going to sound and how you're going to play it. And it's going to live like that forever. So it's a real delicate thing to be able to pull off. And I don't think it's unreasonable that we take a long time at all. I think that's only natural, and that's why I'm proud of it, because it worked. It was worked on really hard. Asked if it's fair to say that there will be new Tool music in the next 2 years, Justin said, yeah. Well, the other thing is the climate of releasing music has completely changed. I'm looking at you, Spotify. Has completely changed, especially when you take a long time to make new music. I just got to say right there, when their album Fear Inoculum came out in 2019, they also dropped their entire catalog on streaming for the first time ever. The first time their music was available digitally, whether to purchase or to stream. And between their whole catalog going up on streaming and releasing a new album for the first time in 13 years, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13 years, they bumped Taylor Swift out of the number one spot, and all the Swifties lost their minds because they'd never heard of Tool and they didn't know who they were. And there were all these memes, like screenshots of these Swifties tweeting and freaking out, being like, yeah, I don't know. It's these old guys that were like a band in the 90s and they're trying to make some kind of comeback or something. They had no idea who Tool was, and their brains were exploding that someone was higher on the charts than old Swiftie. So, yeah. When you take a long time to make music, lots of people don't know who you are. And when your album comes out and it hits number one, people are confused. It's always a bit different when it comes out. So we've talked about releasing a single, just one song. We could do that. We could also see if I can get rid of this thing over here. This is freaking me out. Just one song. We could do that. We could also release an EP. And I think because we have such a dedicated fan base, everyone's going to be up for it. They'll all be interested. Whatever the way it comes out. So we might not necessarily have to really wrestle out a whole album. We talked about the option of just maybe doing it a little bit differently and doing a song at a time, or you could release a single, then another single, and another single. And then after a year of releasing singles, you could put them all together on a record and then make an album. Well, my friend, you just might have to fix that, because out of that whole big giant shelf of all that vinyl you have, that is a crime that you don't have any Tool in that collection. All right, Blair, see you later, buddy. Thanks for being here. Talk to you Monday when we're going over Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff, hopefully. So have a good rest of your night, buddy. What is the best Tool album? Well, that is a very objective question, because they're all very, very different. Man, that really is a tough question. As I sit here right now, I would go between their 1996 release Anima or their 2019 release Fear Inoculum. But then the 2001 release Lateralis is great for a lot of reasons. 2006 release 10,000 Days is fantastic for a lot of reasons. So that is a very, very loaded question that I could probably do an entire stream on, that nobody would watch, because I don't think anybody here watching likes Tool that much. But yeah, Anima or Fear Inoculum, I would flip a coin and say either one of those. Problem is, I think you could probably still find Fear Inoculum on vinyl. Anima has not been released on vinyl since the original release in 96, so any copies that are out there are really expensive, but they've been talking about how they recently remastered the 96 album, so I think a new vinyl release is coming. Just kind of keep your eyes peeled for a pre-order on that one. I think that one's coming. They have not re-released that on vinyl since the original release in 96. Asked if it's fair to say the Tool. Okay, we already read that paragraph. Sorry, moving on. Let's see if we can get rid of these stupid ads over here. This weird, I don't know, ads on the side are creeping me out. If anyone can recommend a good ad blocker, I had one, but then it got to where like every website and every article I wanted to pull up was like, you can't use this ad blocker. It doesn't work. It would it wouldn't allow me to use the ad blocker. And I always get all this weird stuff over on the side that I'm just like, what is on my screen right now? So I apologize for the ads. I'm working on it. So Justin continued on. He says, I'm not really answering your question fully, but it doesn't really have any rules when you're making music, he explained. We're just kind of making it up. But I can tell you that we absolutely have to write new music to continue what we're doing. We wouldn't be happy just to sit on our laurels and play the same stuff over and over again. We really want to create new music to be able to continue doing what we love. So it's coming, trust me. It's also important to point out that I believe Tool is no longer signed to a record label. So they're not under any kind of pressure or obligation to release an album. Whether they sign another deal or not, I don't know, because it's usually, if you sign another deal, another contract, it's like a multi-album contract where they're not going to be content to just be like, oh, we'll give you one album and then see how it goes. But the guys in Tool are getting into their 60s, and as we've already been discussing tonight, it's not to say that these guys don't keep going into their 70s, into their 80s, some of them into their 90s. But I know Maynard, for one, that he's not particularly fond of touring and performing live, and he's in his 60s now, and he's just kind of like, I don't know how much longer we can do this. So he's saying that he wants to get new music out sooner than later, because he doesn't really sound like he wants to do this forever. It's quite the businessman outside of the band, where he's got his very successful winery out there in Arizona, which I just visited one of his newest restaurants and tasting rooms in Cottonwood, Arizona this past Friday. But yeah, Maynard's got a lot of other stuff going on, and he's just kind of like, yeah, he's like, we're getting older. We don't want to do this forever. He doesn't want to tour forever. He doesn't want to be on the road forever. All of their tours, they're very short stints. Very rarely does tours with a Perfect Circle and Puss for his other bands, but he gets out there a little bit. Justin asked if he and his Tool bandmates feel any kind of pressure to satisfy their fans when it comes to releasing new music. Justin said, not really. It's more of a pressure on ourselves to be proud of what we allow to go out into the world. And part of that is really working on it and creating something that we are proud of, not kind of being flippant about it, really taking it serious as an art form. So that's another one that Tool has famously taken a long time between albums, typically 5 to 6 years, but the gap between 10,000 Days and Fear Inoculum was 13 years. There were a lot of other factors in there that came about, some different lawsuits and stuff that kind of drained them and whatnot. But they have all said time and time again, like, they're not going to put something out just to put it out. They're not going to put something out just because the fans want it. They're not going to put something out just because the label wants. They're going to put an album out when they think it's good and damn ready, and not 1 second before that. So they're like, like that sentence just said. He's like, we don't want to put something out and be flippant about it. We don't want to release an album just to be like, oh, it's been 6 years, we need to release a new album. They're like, no, it's like, we'll put it out when we think it's the best thing we've done. And the fans can agree or disagree with it. But when the four of them in the band feel this is the best thing we've done, then like, okay, it will be done. But they're not going to put it out 1 second before that. And I appreciate that. I respect that. So the pressure is really on ourselves, I would say. And as far as everyone else, you can't really please everyone. So there's always going to be people that don't like it. And there's going to be people that do like it. There's songs that I don't like that Adam Jones, Tool guitarist, likes. And then sometimes that changes over time. That'll be a song that I don't like playing, and then all of a sudden over time I start to be fond of it and see the beauty in it. It's art, Justin added, each to their own. And if you try to please everybody, it's not going to work. So you really just have to be true to yourself. Just a year ago, Justin told Metal Hammer the fans won't have to wait another 13 years to hear a new studio album from him and his Tool bandmates. Danny Carey, who is now 63 years old, says, so there's no thought of taking 13 years if you're going to do it. He explained, we're going to have to be more efficient. And we've been talking of ways that we can do it. Maybe taking a leaf out of how me and Peter, Mohammed, and Justin's bandmate and side projects, MT Void, and instead of staring at each other going, come on, get it out of you, maybe we could do a bit more at home. We'll see. In a separate interview with Revolver magazine, Chancellor and Carey talked about a possible follow-up to Fear Inoculum, addressing the fact that Fear Inoculum marked the band's first full-length effort in 13 years due to creative, personal, and legal issues band members encountered since the release of 10,000 Days. Justin went on to say, it'll be different this time. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's expectations are different. Time is precious now. So you try and look for ways to be more efficient with the process. We've had a lot of discussion about that and how we can bring a new record to fruition in a slightly different way. Speaking about the Tool songwriting process, Danny Carey, drummer, said, our filter system is pretty intense. If it gets by the four of us in the band, then we figure it's going to work. It's a pretty painstaking process that we go through to finish an album, get it where we are all completely convinced. It pays off in the long run because we never really get tired of performing our songs, which probably quite a good thing. I always wonder that with like Metallica and some of these other guys where it's like they get tired of playing Enter Sandman. They get tired of playing, like there's certain songs that like you just are expected to play at every show. And but he's saying here they don't get tired of performing their songs. It gives rise to a vehicle that we can all believe in. As for a possible musical direction for Tool's next LP, Danny Carey said, who knows? It could flip-flop and we could just go back to doing an Undertow type of record, a little more raw, metal, forward style of shorter songs. That's kind of appealing to me. I always like change, whatever direction it goes. Another possibility is a new EP rather than full-length release. We're free agents now, Carey says. We aren't signed to a label anymore. We're free to do whatever we want. Quite possibly the era's most highly anticipated album, Fear Inoculum, arrived on August of 2019, debuting at number 1 on Billboard's Top 200. The album earned heaps of critical praise, with NPR saying Fear Inoculum was worth the 13-year wait. Revolver proclaiming the album a masterpiece to be dissected for years to come, and Consequence saying the release finds Tool in peak performance. In 2022, Tool released Opiate 2, or Opiate Squared, a reimagined and extended version of the 92 EP's title track. So just one song, and accompanying short film marking the band's first new video in 15 years, since they didn't make any videos for Fear Inoculum. And honestly, what's the point of making music videos anymore? I mean, people are going to go look it up on YouTube and watch it once and go, hey, that was cool. Music videos are a dead art, which is kind of unfortunate because it was kind of a cool thing there for a while. There was even a little bit of resurgence when I was in my late teens, early 20s, when I think it started out being called Much Music and then became what was the name of the channel? Doesn't matter, whatever. But there was a new channel that came out that showed exclusively just music videos. It was like what MTV was when they premiered in the 80s. And then slowly they went the same way of starting to have TV shows and starting to have movies and then same thing. That channel went away, which was funny because when that channel came out, a big part of their marketing campaign was making fun of MTV music television for not showing music videos anymore. But then this other channel went the same way. I can't remember. Was it Fuse? I think it was called Much Music, and then I think it was called Fuse. I think they're based out of Canada or something. But for a short time there in the early 2000s, they were what MTV used to be, and then they went the same way. So, yeah, music videos are a dinosaur at this point, unfortunately. But I guess it's one less thing bands and artists have to worry about. 15 years. The band also unveiled the first incarnation of Fear Inoculum vinyl, dubbed the Ultra Deluxe Edition. Hey, that's the box set that I bought that I did an unboxing video of it, and I made Roman become addicted to collecting vinyl. You're welcome, buddy. The Ultra Deluxe Edition. The limited offering included 5 180-gram vinyl discs emblemized with a unique etching and accompanied by an elaborate pictorial booklet including never-before-seen artwork. So you guys can go back and find that in my unboxing videos where I flip through everything, pull out each disc, and show off all the artwork and everything. And yep, you're welcome, Roman. Tool formed in 1990, releasing 5 studio albums: Undertow, Anima, Lateralis, 10,000 Days, and Fear Inoculum, 2 EPs, 72826, and Opiate. In the limited edition box set Salival, I don't know how to pronounce that one, the band has won 4 Grammy Awards: Best Metal Performance, Best Recording Package, and Best Metal Performance. Okay, so 3 times they've won Best Metal Performance and 1. Okay, so Best Recording Package for 10,000 Days. So that was the one that had the little stereo optic lenses on it. So you had to look at the artwork through these lenses, and it made a 3D image. It was pretty cool. That is the one where I went and waited in line outside of a Tower Records for the midnight release of 10,000 Days. Now, record stores don't exist except for secondhand record stores. So there's no record stores that do new releases at midnight anymore. But I went and I got 10,000 Days at midnight, the day it was released. And rest in peace, Tower Records. Yeah, they used to be really good. But it went the way of the dinosaur. Yeah, it was so funny that their whole marketing campaign was making fun of MTV, and now they are exactly what MTV is, just a bunch of garbage reality TV shows and movies. None have anything to do with music. Not a one. Is it really so hard? Like, don't you think there's an audience for that? I mean, okay, granted, at this point, people just don't really have cable, but when people still had cable, like, there was a market for that. Like, people would literally, I would come home from school. I was in high school back then, so hey, I'm young. I would come home from school and just like turn on Fuse and then go like make a sandwich, make a snack, whatever, something, and just have it on. Whatever it was. If it was the metal hour, if it was the whatever, like I would just have it on and just have, whatever came on. Like there is a market for it. People want to just have a channel where you just turn it on and it's just music videos. It doesn't matter if like one video is pop and then the next one is rock and then the next, it's just like just have it on. Like people just want to watch. But network executives felt otherwise, and so there you go. My bank account hates you for it. Well, cheers, buddy. And condolences to your bank account. But yes, the good old days. Yeah, right. It's like I don't understand why TV stations and CEOs and network execs and whatever, why they don't think there's a market for it. Make MTV great again. That's the executive order we need. Get rid of all this Jersey Shore, 16 and pregnant and whatever, and just make MTV great again. I think that's something we can all stand behind. Oh man, y'all are awful quiet over there on X, aka Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I know the chat feature works. I just went way out of focus. I know the chat feature works. So I don't know. You guys are just lurking, but interact. It's more fun when you interact. Let's just all have a conversation. I don't even care if you hate me. Just let me know you hate me. But anyways, that is all I have for you today. Monday, for late to the party news, we will be talking about this year's list of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations. And if all goes according to plan, I'm going to have each person on the panel pick their 5 out of the list, because I think that's essentially what gets inducted in every year. Is like out of the list of, it's like 15 or 20 acts, I think 5 get in, give or take, something like that. So I'm going to try and have everyone on the panel pick their 5, and then we're going to discuss. But because the nominations for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are usually a joke, I think we're actually all probably going to agree more than not on our picks of what should get into the Hall of Fame and what shouldn't. But Rock Hall of Fame is a joke. But I'm the music guy, so we have to talk about it. Yeah, that's a big red flag there, I suppose. That is unfortunate, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But yes, I'm playing Sunny Grove on Friday. So that actually reminds me, if I remember to bring all my stuff, I'll probably be doing a live stream from my gig on Friday. Saturday, I'm playing at a winery, but it's way up on a hill. I don't know if I get good enough signal up there to stream, so I probably won't do the winery gig on Saturday, but I'll probably be doing a gig stream Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. California time. I'll be streaming that here on this channel. Roman will be there drunkenly yelling in the background. You might see some appearances of him walking by to the bar to get more drinks and whatnot. But yeah, gig stream Friday, 6 o'clock California time, Sunny Grove Brewing. And that's all I got. So thank you guys for hanging out, and all of you over there on X, even if you are being quiet, even if you are lurking Carl. But I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I'll see y'all on Friday at my gig stream or on Monday for Late to the Party News, where we talk about how much the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sucks. Thanks for being here. Cheers, and enjoy the rest of your week.